I used to witness at the beach, and I could often tell when they weren't getting it. But now, with the bridge diagram, I have a simple and clear way of presenting Christ to others.
I've always had an easy time inviting people to church or church functions, but I never had the confidence to lead someone to Christ. After learning the bridge, now I'm ready.
Friends, welcome back to this fourth session on how to share your faith. I hope you've had a good time sharing your experiences from this last week with each other. Okay, I have a couple thoughts for you on dealing with questions. First of all, remember this: God has not called you to be a salesperson. The issue is there's no high-pressure techniques involved here. God has not called you to be a defense attorney. You don't need to have answers for all their questions. God has called you to be a witness, to share with others what God has done for you and what God wants to do for them. There are three categories of questions that come up while you're sharing your faith: clarification questions, derailing questions, and difficult questions. We'll begin with clarification questions. One of the first questions that often comes up is, it just seems too simple. And the response to that is, you're right, it does seem too simple, but it has to be simple because it's for everybody. Second question is, I don't feel worthy. And your response to that is, you're right. You're not worthy. I'm not worthy. None of us is worthy because God doesn't grade on a curve. His standard is absolute. The third clarifying question is this. Someone says, I'm on the right side of the diagram. And when that happens, I say, great, tell me about it. When did that happen? How did that happen? But if his answer is unclear, like, well, I've always believed, then I ask this follow-up question. Well, suppose you died and stood before God, and he said to you, why should I let you into my heaven? What would you say?
Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Well, where do you see yourself on here?
I see myself on this side.
All right. Well, would you like to cross over and receive Christ?
Well, it just seems too simple.
You know what? You're right. It is simple. That's because it's for everyone, whether you're age 5 or 105.
The second type of question is a derailing question. A derailing question is a question that comes up while you're presenting the bridge to somebody else, and it would take you off track. And you do not want to answer the derailing question. You want to postpone it, because the most important thing for that person that you are talking to consider is the three concluding questions. Does this make sense? Where are you? Would you like to cross over? The third type of question is the difficult question. A difficult question is any question you do not have the answer for. So how you respond to it is you affirm it. That's a good question, but I don't know the answer to that question, but I know there is one. And so I'll do some research and I'll get back to you. The other way to respond to it is you affirm the question. That's a good question. I don't have the answer to that question, but what I do know is that Christ has changed my life.
So Mary, tell me about those people that haven't heard about Christ.
Well, Jim, that's a very good question. It's a very tough question too, and honestly, I don't have the answer to it. But what I can tell you is what Jesus Christ has done for me, and he's real in my life.
Now what I want you to do is to get into pairs, a different set of pairs this time, and practice on each other so that you ask and answer each of these questions, and both of you get a chance to answer each one of these questions. And finally, what I want to encourage you to do before you leave is get together again and pray. Pray for each other, pray for this impact list, and anticipate getting together several weeks down the road. God bless you. God is with you.